What happens when a late-night comedy icon decides to corner a royal with uncomfortable truths? You won't believe what unfolds when Prince Harry faces his most brutal interrogation yet on Stephen Colbert's show, leading to an explosive confrontation that nobody saw coming. Before we get into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below because you're not going to believe what unfolds. Last night's episode of The Late Show started innocently enough, with Prince Harry settling into the guest chair, wearing his usual casual blazer and that carefully practiced media smile. The studio audience greeted him with polite applause, expecting another softball interview about his charitable work or upcoming projects. But Stephen Colbert had something entirely different planned. From the moment the cameras rolled, there was an unusual tension in the air. Colbert's opening questions seemed friendly on the surface, but seasoned viewers could detect something sharper lurking beneath his trademark wit. "So Harry," Colbert began with that familiar grin, "you've been quite busy lately, haven't you? All these media appearances, the Netflix deals, the book tours. It's almost like you've become America's favorite British export." Prince Harry chuckled nervously, clearly not picking up on the subtle barb. "Well, Stephen, I'm just trying to use my platform to make a positive difference, you know. Mental health advocacy. Veteran support." Right, Colbert interrupted, his tone shifting almost imperceptibly. "Making a positive difference. That's interesting phrasing coming from someone who's made millions from airing his family's dirty laundry." The studio fell silent. Harry's smile faltered for just a moment before he tried to recover. "I think that's a bit unfair, Stephen. Everything I've shared has been about transparency and healing." "Healing?" Colbert leaned forward, abandoning all pretense of casual conversation. "Let's talk about healing, Harry. Because I'm curious about something." He pulled out a stack of papers from beneath his desk with theatrical flair. "I've been doing some research, and I found some fascinating financial records." The color began draining from Harry's face as he shifted uncomfortably in his chair. "I'm not sure what you're getting at." "What I'm getting at," Colbert continued, his voice gaining intensity, "is that while you've been playing the victim card and talking about how the royal family cut you off financially, you've been quietly profiting from charities that were supposed to help veterans and disadvantaged youth." He held up the papers. "Care to explain why only 12% of donations to your Archwell Foundation actually went to charitable causes last year?" The accusation hit the studio like a thunderbolt. Harry's carefully maintained composure began cracking as he gripped the armrests of his chair. That's completely taken out of context. You don't understand how charitable foundations operate." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Colbert shot back, his comedic persona completely gone now. "I understand that you and Meghan have been living in a $16 million mansion while veterans you claim to support are sleeping on the streets. I understand that you've made more money complaining about your privileged upbringing than most people will see in 10 lifetimes." The audience was dead silent, the tension so thick it was almost suffocating. Harry's media training was failing him as his voice rose defensively. "You have no idea what my family put me through. The racism, the isolation, the complete lack of support when Meghan was struggling with her mental health. And there it is," Colbert slammed his hand on the desk. "Every single time someone calls you out, you play the same cards. Racism, mental health, your poor wife. Meanwhile, you're cashing checks from the same media machine you claim traumatized you." He leaned back with a cold smile. "Tell me, Harry, how much did Netflix pay you to throw your grandmother under the bus?" That final question was the breaking point. Harry's face flushed red as he stood abruptly from his chair, his hands shaking with rage. "How dare you! You have absolutely no right to speak about my grandmother or my wife that way." "I have every right," Colbert replied coolly, remaining seated and maintaining eye contact. "You made your family business, everyone's business, the moment you signed those deals. You can't have it both ways, Harry. You can't profit from your pain while demanding sympathy." The prince was visibly trembling now, his voice cracking with emotion. "You know nothing about what I've been through, nothing about the sacrifices I've made or the threats my family has faced." "Sacrifices?" Colbert's voice dripped with disdain. "You mean like sacrificing your relationship with your dying grandfather for a tell-all interview? Or sacrificing your brother's privacy for book sales?" He stood up now, matching Harry's energy. Face it, Harry. You're not a victim. You're just another celebrity who got addicted to the spotlight and will say anything to stay relevant. The studio audience gasped audibly as Harry completely lost control. This is outrageous. I came here in good faith, and you've turned this into a character assassination. He ripped off his microphone with such force that it clattered to the floor. I don't have to sit here and listen to this garbage from a two-bit comedian who thinks he's a journalist. Colbert's eyes flashed dangerously. Two-bit comedian? At least I earn my success without selling out my own family. At least when I make jokes about powerful people, I don't pretend to be the victim. That's enough, Harry shouted, his composure completely shattered. This interview is over. He turned toward the exit, but Colbert wasn't finished. Running away again, Harry? Just like you ran from your royal duties when they got too hard? The final insult hung in the air like poison. Harry spun around one last time, his face contorted with fury. You'll be hearing from my lawyers about this ambush. He pointed an accusatory finger at Colbert. And when the truth comes out about how you manipulated this situation, your career will be finished. With that explosive threat, Prince Harry stormed off the set, leaving behind a stunned studio audience and a satisfied Stephen Colbert, who simply straightened his tie and turned to the camera with a slight smirk. The confrontation had reached its dramatic conclusion, but the echoes of those heated exchanges and shocking accusations would reverberate far beyond the studio walls.